Hi guys, welcome back to the next episode of Director's Chair. Today we're looking at the insane world of Steven Spielberg. So let's get into it. Welcome back to the next episode of Director's Chair, where we look at directors. Today we're talking about Steven Spielberg. I'm going to go through he's done over 30 movies. I'm going to go through all of them. I get how I thought about them. So let's get into it. It all started in 1964 when he did Firelight. This was a science fiction adventure film written and directed by Steven Spielberg at the age of 17. It was made on a $500,000 budget, $500,000 budget, and it made $501,000. And so only 3 minutes and 40 seconds of footage have been made to the public. About 3% of the original length Spielberg returned to its subject matter for its major film, Close Encounters of the Third Kind. I have not seen this movie. I don't know if it's good. So, yeah, this was his first movie, which I don't think people remember. But yeah, so 1971 we had Duel. This was an action thriller. This was a TV movie, and it starred Dennis Quaid, Jacqueline Scott, and Carrie Lofton. And this was basically about a truck that basically follows a guy around throughout the whole movie. If you've seen Christine, if you've seen The Car, it's pretty much just that. But this was before those movies came out. And yeah, so this movie, it's an okay movie. It aired on ABC. It's an okay movie. I like it. Dennis Quaid is good in there. Dennis Weaver is good in there. I like this movie. I think it's good. So that's what I have to say about Deal. Then 1975 we had then so in no I know 1970 no wait no wait 1974 we had no hold on a second 1974 we had the Sugarland Express. So this was a crime drama film, and it starred Goldie Hawn, William Atherton, and Michael Sachs. And this was the first. This was his first theatrical directing debut, and this one is a good movie. I enjoy it. I think Goldie Hawn is good in it. I like it for what it is. It's not my favorite Spielberg movie, but I think it's okay. So yeah, 1975 we had Jaws. Now this was a thriller film, and this was based on a 1974 novel by Peter Benchley, and it starred Roy Scheider, Richard Dreyfuss, Robert Shaw, Lorraine Gary, and Murray Hamilton. It made $476.5 million, $9 million budget, and it was the highest rated film of all time until the release of Star Wars 2 years later. Both films were pivotal in establishing a modern Hollywood business model, which pursues high box office returns from action and adventure films. So yeah, this was a good movie. I love Jaws. This one's the best one. Jaws 2 is okay. I don't like 3 and 4, but yeah, this one's a good movie. Then in 1977, we had Close Encounters of the Third Kind, and this starred Richard Dreyfuss, Terry Garr, Melinda Dillon, Francis Truffett, Bob Balaban, and yeah, this one was an okay movie. I liked it for what it was. Yeah, this one was a really good Steven Spielberg movie. It made $306.9 million, $19 million budget. Um, so yeah, it was a critical financial success. I actually like this movie. Yeah, so this one was actually good. Yeah, so it's Close Encounters. Then in 1979, we had 1941. This was a comedy film that starred Dan Aykroyd, Ned Beatty, John Belushi, John Candy, Christopher Lee, Tim Matheson, Toshiro Mifune, Robert Stack, Nancy Allen, and Mickey Rourke. And Yeah, this was a really good movie. It received mixed reviews from critics, with criticism towards the script, pacing, and humor, but praise towards the effects, sound design, John Williams' score, and cinematography. Although '94 was not as financially nor successful as many of Spielberg's other films, it received popularity after expanded version aired on ABC, with subsequent television broadcasts and home video reissues, raising it to its cult status. I mean, 94.9 million on $35 million budget. This one's a really good Steven Spielberg movie. When people forget this one, I actually enjoy this one. Then in 1981, we had Raiders of the Lost Ark. This starred Harrison Ford, Karen Allen, Paul Freeman, Ronald Lacey, John Rhys Davies, and Denholm Elliott. It made $389.9 million on a $20 million budget. It was a critical success, receiving praise for its modern take on the serial genre. Its non-stop action and adventure performances of cast, particularly Ford, Allen, and Freeman. Raiders of the Lost Ark is now considered one of the greatest films ever made, and has had a lasting impact of pop culture, spawning a host of imitators across other platforms and inspiring filmmakers. And yeah, this was the first entry in the Indiana Jones franchise, which included 4 more movies and a television series, video games, comic books, novels, theme park attractions, toys, and an amateur remake. Yeah, so this one. Yeah, this one was actually a good. This one was a. I think this is probably my favorite Indiana Jones movie. I really enjoy it. First Raiders of the Lost Ark. Then in 1983, we had Twilight Zone, the movie. Now, this was a science fiction anthology film. It was based on Rod Serling's 1959 to 1964 television series with the same name. It was directed by John Landis, Steven Spielberg, Joe Dante, and George Miller. All 4 of them did a segment. Steven Spielberg directed the segment "Kick the Can," and the film received mixed reviews, with praise directed at Dante and Miller's segments, but criticism towards the segments by Landis and Spielberg. It made $42 million on a $10 million budget. The film's production achieved notoriety when Mora and 2 illegally hired child actors were killed in a helicopter crash during filming of a stunt for Landis' segment. The deaths led to several years of legal action, although no individuals were found to be criminally liable. New procedures and safety standards were imposed in the filmmaking industry. This movie's good. It's okay. Yeah. I like the Twilight Zone. I think they're all good. Except from the '80s one. The 2000 one's fine. The 2019 one's fine. The original one's obviously the best, but this one's good, even though it gets overshadowed by the deaths. I'm not gonna go into the deaths because I might save that for when I do John Landis' one, because it has more to do with John Landis than Steven Spielberg, because Steven Spielberg didn't really have anything to do with it. It has more to do with John Landis and his segment. So if I do a John Landis one, I will talk about that. So that's the Twilight Zone movie. Then in 1984, we had Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. There's a second installment in Indiana Jones franchise. It's an action-adventure film, and it's a prequel to the 1981 film Raiders of the Lost Ark. It has Harrison Ford, Kate Capshaw, Ke Huy Quan, Amish Puri, Philip Stone, and this movie was good. It's not as good as Raiders, but I like it for what it was. It made $333.1 million on a $28 million budget. Reviews were mixed, criticizing its darker elements, strong violence and gore, as well as Capshaw's performance as Willie Scott. However, critical opinion has improved since 1984, citing the film's intensity and imagination. The reference to some of the more violent scenes in the film, and with a similar constraints about Gremlins. Spielberg suggested that a motion picture decision marry MPA after its rating system, which it did within 2 months of the film's release, creating a new PG-13 rating. And yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say. And yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say. It's a good movie. Um, so yeah, then in 1985 we had The Color Purple. Um, it's an epic coming of age period drama film. It's based on the 1982 novel of the same name by Alice Walker, and it starred Danny Glover, Adolph Caesar, Margaret Avery, Ray Downchong, Whoopi Goldberg, Oprah Winfrey, and made $98.4 million on a $50 million budget. The film the film received acclaim from critics, with positive praise going to its acting, especially Goldberg's performance, direction, screenplay, musical, and production values. However, it was criticized by some for being over-sentimental and stereotypical, and was boycotted by some chapters of the NAACP for its depiction of rape. Nevertheless, it was a success. We will be getting a musical remake in 2023, December 2023, and this one is a good one. I actually enjoy this movie. This one's a really good movie. Then in 1987, we had Empire of the Sun. This was an epic coming-of-age war film based on J.G. Dallard's semi-autobiographical 1984 novel of the same name. It made $66.7 million on a $25 million budget. It stars John Malkovich, Miranda Richards, Nigel Havers, and Christian Bale. The film received positive reviews, but was not initially a commercial success. Only $22 million at the US box office. It was eventually more than recouped its budget through revenues of foreign markets, home video, and television. And this was a really good Steven Spielberg movie. I enjoyed it for what it is. And yeah, so that's Empire of the Sun. And then in 1989, we had Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. It was an action adventure film. It's the third installment in Indiana Jones franchise. Made $474.2 million, a $48 million budget. It starred Harrison Ford, Denholm Elliott, Alison Doody, John Rhys Davies, Julian Glover, and Sean Connery. And yeah, this movie was actually good. And I actually enjoy this movie. It's actually good. I love Harrison Ford. I love Sean Connery in this movie. And yeah, this was it. That was it. It received highly positive reviews from Ford and Connery's performances, human father-son relationship, action sequences, and John Williams' score. And so yeah, that's Raiders or that's The Last Crusade. Then also in 1989 we had Always. This was a romantic fantasy drama film. Starred Richard Dreyfuss, Holly Hunter, John Goodman, Brad Johnson, and Audrey Hepburn in a final film role. And yeah, so this was this one was a really good movie. I actually enjoyed this movie. It made $47.1 million. Yeah, it had positive reviews. I actually had this movie. In 1991, we had Hook. Now this was an adventure film. It starred Dustin Hoffman, Robin Williams, Julia Roberts, Bob Hopkins, Maggie Smith, and Charlie Kaufman. And yeah, this made $300.9 million, a $70 million budget. It serves as a sequel to J.M. Barron's 1911 novel Peter and Wendy. And yeah, it received mixed reviews from critics who praised their performances, particularly those of Williams and Hoffman. John Williams, who was score and production values, but criticized the screenplay and tone. Although it was a commercial set, his box office take was lower than expected. He has gained a strong cult following since his release, and spawns merchandise, including video games, action figures, and comic book adaptations. And yeah, this one's a good movie. It's not my favorite Spielberg movie, and it's definitely not my favorite adaptation on Peter Pan. I like the 2003 one more. So yeah, in 1993 we had Jurassic Park. Now this was Now this was a science fiction film, and this was based on the book of the same name by Michael Crichton, and it starred Sam Neill, Laura Dern, Jeff Goldblum, Richard Attenborough, Bob Peck, Martin Ferrero, B.D. Wong, Samuel Jackson, Wayne Knight, Joseph Mazzello, and Oriana Richards. And this made 1.046 billion, and on a billion, and yeah, so that's Jurassic Park. This is the first one on Jurassic Park trilogy, Jurassic Park franchise, and I also forgot to mention E.T., which came in 1980. That came out in 1981. No, 1982. I forgot to talk about E.T. Yeah, so this was a science fiction film, and it starred Dee Wallace, Henry Thomas, Peter Cole, Robert McNaughton, and Drew Barrymore, and made 792.9 million. This was the highest grossing movie until the release of Jurassic Park, and it was acclaimed by critics and is regarded as one of the greatest films of all time. And yeah, this was a really good movie. And yeah, so moving on, in 1993, we had Schindler's List. This was an epic historical drama film. It's based on a 1992 novel, Schindler's Ark, by Australian novelist Thomas Keneally. It made $320.2 million on a $20 million budget, and is often listed among the greatest films ever made. The film received universal acclaim for its time, particularly Neeson, Fiennes, Kingsley, atmosphere, and Spielberg's direction. It was a box office success. This starred Liam Neeson, Ben Kingsley, Ralph Fiennes, Caroline Goodall, Jonathan Segel, and Amber Davids. Yeah, and this was a good movie. I actually like this movie. So Schindler's List, and then after that, 1997, we had The Lost World: Jurassic Park. Now, this was a science fiction action film. It's the second installment in the Jurassic Park franchise, and the second film in the original trilogy. This is based on the book The Lost World by Michael Crichton, and it stars Jeff Goldblum, Julianne Moore, Pete Postlewaite, Alice Howard. It's $618 million. $73 million budget. The film received mixed reviews. He praised the visuals but criticized the character development. Spielberg also expressed disappointment with the film, stating he had become increasingly disenchanted with its production. And yeah, so that's what Jurassic Park. Obviously, we had 3 that was directed by Spielberg, and we had Jurassic World and Fallen Kingdom and Dominion. And moving on, we had in 1997 we had Amistad, historical drama film. It's based on the events in the 1839 aboard the Spanish slave ship La Amistad. It's out Morgan Freeman, Nigel Hawthorne, Anthony Hopkins, the Jim and Hounsou, Matthew McConaughey, David Peter Postlewaite, Stellan Skarsgård, and made $58.9 million, $39 million budget. This was a really good movie. A lot of people talk about this one. In 1998, we had Saving Private Ryan, and this was an epic war film directed by Steven Spielberg. This starred Tom Hanks, Edward Burns, Matt Damon, Tom Sizemore. And this made $482.3 million on a $65 to $7 million budget. Saving Private Ryan, it considered one of the greatest films ever made. Its battle sequences, its battle sequence filming technique impacted many sequent war, action, and superhero films, and numerous directors have cited Sam Raimi's influence. It was credited with helping renew interest in World War II. At the turn of the century, inspiring other film, television, and video games set during the war. It became one of the most successful films, earning critical acclaim for its graphic portrayal of combat. World War II veterans describe the combat scenes as the most realistic portrayal of their own experiences. Someone able to watch it due to their traumatic memories. It was the second highest gross film in 1998. This one's a really good movie. Then in 2001 we had AI, artificial intelligence. Now this was a science action film. It was based on Super Toys Lost All Summer Long by Brian. The short story by Brian Aldiss. It made $235.9 million on $100 million budget. It starred Haley Joel Osment, Jude Law, Frances O'Connor, Brendan Gleeson, and William Hurt. This one is a really good movie. I actually enjoy it. It was positive from critics. Yeah, I enjoyed this one. It's a really good movie. In 2002 we had Minority Report. Now this was Minority Report was a science fiction action film. It's based on the 1956 novella Minority Report by Philip K. Dick. It starred Tom Cruise, Colin Farrell, Samantha Morton, Savannah von Sydow. It made $358.4 million, $102 million budget. This was originally written for a sequel to Total Recall, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger, but due to Coroca for bankruptcy, the project was rewritten as a standalone film, and it received no. Initial reviews were positive. Praise were given Cruise's performances, Spielberg's direction, action sequences, and visual effect. The song criticism was focused on the runtime and complexity of the plot that Chris felt it was too difficult for audiences. Since its release, Minority Report has been critically reevaluated, and retrospectivists have called it one of the best films for both Cruise and Spielberg, and placed it among one of the best science fiction films of the 2000s. And this was a really good movie. I enjoyed this one. Then also in 2002 we had Catch Me If You Can. This was a biographical crime comedy drama film, and is based on the book of the same name by Frank Abagnale Jr., Stan Redding. It made $352.1 million on $52 million budget. It starred Leonardo DiCaprio, Tom Hanks, Christopher Walken, Martin Sheen, and Natalie Bay. And I enjoyed this movie for what it is. So it was a critical commercial success. Let's Catch Me If You Can. The 2004 we had The Terminal. This was a comedy film starring Tom Hanks, Catherine Zeta-Jones, Stanley Tucci. It made $290.4 million, $60 million budget. Received positive reviews. And I like this movie. It was a really good movie. So that's The Terminal. In 2005, we had War of the Worlds. This was a science fiction action thriller film based on H.G. Wells' 1898 novel, The War of the Worlds. This one was actually a good movie. This starred Tom Cruise, Dakota Fanning, Miranda Otto, and Tim Robbins, and it made $603.9 million, $132 million budget. It received positive reviews with many praising the performances, particularly those of Cruise and Fanning. Spielberg's direction, his screenplay, dark and realistic tone, action sequences, sound design, and visual effects. And this was Tom Cruise's highest grossing film until the release of Top Gun Maverick. So I really like this movie. Then in 2005, we had Munich. This is a historical drama film, and it's based on the 1984 book Vengeance by George Jonas. And it starred Eric Bana, Daniel Craig, Kieran Hines, Matthew Kasovitz, Hans Schindler, and Jeffrey Rush. It made $131 million, $70 million budget, making it one of Spielberg's lowest grossing films domestically. It made $47 million in the United States. And this was a good movie. I actually enjoyed this one. Then in 2008 we had Indiana Jones and Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. This was an action adventure film. This is the fourth installment in the Indiana Jones series, and and it stars it stars Harrison Ford, Kate Blanchett, Karen Allen, Shia LaBeouf, Ray Winstone, John Hurt, Jim Broadbent, and it made $709.7 million on $185 million budget. I received positive from critics, but the mixed responses from audiences. Critics praised the film for its cast, action sequence, and pulpy tone, Dolphin's musical score, but criticized the dialogue, storyline, pacing, and overuse of CGI. It was also financially successful, like the previous films in the series, grossing $790, becoming off the franchise's highest grossing film when not just for inflation, as well as the second highest grossing film in 2008. There will be a sequel to this called Indiana Jones and the Dark Destiny. That'll be the first one not directed by Spielberg. That'll be directed by James Mangold. I told you about it in the previous episode. This one's okay. It's not my favorite. I don't think it's bad. People say it is, but I don't think it's a good movie. Then in 2011 we had The Adventures of Tintin. Now this was computer animated action adventure film based on Hergé's comic book series of the same name. And this one was, I actually enjoy this movie. It made $374 million on $135 million budget. They see positive reviews from critics who praised the entire motion capture animation, particularly the faithful character designs to Hergé's works, visual effects, action sequences, cast, performance, and musical score. With the film positively compared to Spielberg's Raiders of the Lost Ark, a sequel has been announced to be directed by Jackson, but has since stalled in development hell. I hope we get it eventually. This one's a really good movie. I recommend you check this one out. This one's a really good movie. So that's The Adventures of Tintin. And this one's a really good one. It's Jamie Bell, Andy Serkis, and Daniel Craig. And so the 2011, also in 2011, we had The War Horse. It's a war film. It's based on Michael Morpurgo's 1982 novel War Horse and the 2007 stage adaptation. It starred Emily Watson, David Thewlis, Peter Mullen, Niles Ostrid, and Jeremy Irvine. Made $177.6 million, $66 to $70 million budget, and it was very positive from critics and was named one of the best films of 2011. Now, I actually did see the stage of this. I actually saw the stage adaptation. I think it was in 2013 or 14 I watched it, and I actually enjoyed it. And so 2012 we had Lincoln. Now this was a biographical historical drama film, and it starred Daniel Day-Lewis, Sally Field, David Strathairn, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, James Spader, Hal Holbrook, Tommy Lee Jones. It made $275.3 million, $65 million budget. Lincoln was acclaimed by critics who lauded his acting, especially Day-Lewis, Spielberg's direction, and his production values. And this one was a really good movie. So this one was a really good movie. I enjoy it for what it is. So it was a good movie. I enjoyed it. Then in 2015 we had Bridge of Spies, historical drama. It starred Tom Hanks, Mark Rylance, Amy Ryan, and Alda. It made $165.5 million, $40 million budget. It received critical acclaim for its screenplay, the performance of Hanks and Rylance, Spielberg's direction, Thomas Newman's musical score, and production value. This one was a box office success. And this one's a really good movie. And so 2016 we had BFG. This was based on Nazi adventure film. This is based on Roald Dahl's 1982 novel of the same name, and Yeah, this made 95.2 million, $140 million budget, which it received positive reviews for its visual direction, performance, and entertainment by how the bomb with the box office bomb. This is, I think, the second adaptation of BFG. That was an anime in 1989. Then 2017 we had The Post, and this is a semi fictional historical book called Driller, and it starred Meryl Streep, Tom Hanks, Sarah Paulson, Bob Odenkirk, Tracy Letts, Bradley Whitford, Bruce Greenberg, and Matthew Rhys, and it made $179.8 million on $50 million budget. And yeah, so I enjoyed this movie. I think it's good. It received positive reviews. Critics praised the performances, particularly Streep, Hanks, Odenkirk, and the film's references in relation to the presidency of Nixon and Donald Trump, which has the post really good movie. Then in 2018, we had Ready Player One. This was an American science fiction film based on Ernest Cline's novel of the same name, and it stars Ty Sheridan, Olivia Cook, Ben Mendelsohn, T.J. Miller, Simon Pegg, Mark Rylance, and yeah, so yeah, this one's a really good movie. This was obviously based on the book of the same name by Ernest Cline. It made $592.2 million off $5,570 million budget. Firstly, positive film critics who praised Spielberg's direction, the visual effects, brisk pacing, and performance of both Sheridan and Rylance. A sequel is in development that will be based on the sequel to this book, Ready Player 2. And yeah, so which the book's already out, we'll be getting a film on it. And yeah, this one's a really good movie. And then with 2021, we had West Side Story. Now this was a musical romantic drama film. It is the second feature-length adaptation of the 1957 musical of the same name, after the 1961 film. It's based on West Side Story by Jerome Robbins, Leonard Bernstein, Stephanie Sondheim, and Arthur Laurents. And yeah, this movie was it only made $76 million, $100 million budget. The film's critical acclaim with praise for the performance of the cast, Spielberg direction, and the cinematography, with some critics deeming it superior to the 1961 film. However, it was a box office bomb. It only made $76 million, which is kind of suck. It stars Enzo Elgort, Irina DeBose, David Alvarez, Mike Faye-Based, Rita Moreno, and Rachel Zegler. And so it kind of sucks. I actually like this movie. And yeah, so then finally in 2022, we had The Fabelmans, a semi-autographical story loosely based on Spielberg's adolescence and first years as a filmmaker. This coming-of-age drama. This starred Michelle Williams, Paul Dano, Seth Rogen, Gabrielle LaBelle, and Judd Hirsch, and it made $45.1 million, $40 million budget. So the film received critical acclaim from critics. Underperformed at the box office. Now this one's a really good one. I recommend you check this out. This one's a really good movie, and that's pretty much it. That's pretty much Steven Spielberg. Like, he's one of the best directors. He's directed over 30 movies, and that's pretty much what I have to say about Steven Spielberg. One of the great directors we've had, and he's still one of the best ones working today. Guys, so much for my video. I'll see you in my next video, and goodbye.